I've been on AliExpress again. Uh-oh. Welcome. No, the title and thumbnail are not clickbait. I have been on AliExpress and I've bought 2 fake Nintendo games. But why, you may ask? Well, I'll get to that, but first of all, let's have a look at the games, shall we? So I bought 2, as I said. Just grab them off the table. I have got Metroid Zero Mission on the Game Boy Advance, and I bought Resident Evil Deadly Silence on the Nintendo DS. A game which YouTubers have all said is very, very good, and indeed a good way to play the first Resident Evil game. So there's only one thing to do. Dig out the old consoles, and let's have a look at the games in detail, including some gameplay on the table. Okay, so here are the games in question. We've got Resident Evil, which we'll look at in a second. So we're going to start off with the Game Boy Advance Metroid Zero Mission. I have grabbed, just as a comparison, a random Game Boy Advance game from the collection. In this case we have here Splinter Cell, so we can see how they compare. So apart from the fact that this is obviously brand new, whereas this is not, there isn't a huge difference on the front. Now, unfortunately, I don't have an original copy of this to compare the sticker art to. But one thing that is always a good telltale sign, on a genuine Game Boy Advance cartridge, I'll turn it here so you see that embossed number 9 there. So all genuine Game Boy Advance cartridges, as far as I know, have a number embossed on them. And if you run your fingernail over it, you can actually feel where it's indented into it. This, being a fake, has no such number. Apart from that, and as I said, the fact that this one is clearly much newer, they look very similar. They've got the same printing, so it's Game Boy Advance, the arrow, it's the same shape obviously. If we turn it over, so this is Splinter Cell, this is the original. Again, apart from the age, they've both got the tri-wing screw, which is obviously a Nintendo hallmark. They've got the exact same markings on the back, at least as far as I can tell. So do be wary when you're out and about buying Game Boy Advance cartridges. Look for an embossed number, because that is the best way to tell if it's genuine. Because if it doesn't have one like this, probably a fake. Right, let's give it a test. So I've got the trusty DS Lite. I've had to plug it in because I haven't used it for a little while to get it some charge. I'm going to use this for both just because the screen is a lot better for showing with it being backlit than my old Game Boy Advance. So let's make sure to show you that it's the right one. Let's pop her in, boot her up and see what it has to say for itself. Touch the screen, start GBA game. Sounds all there. Let me turn that up for you so you can hear it properly. I'm just going to move it a bit closer to the camera. Sorry about my reflection, by the way. There's not a lot I can do about that. Right, well, it started up exactly as it should. Let's see if we can skip past that. I haven't played this game ever, so if it does work, I do intend to have a play. Got the save option. Start game. Let's just do easy because I'm only going to show it to you. So start up screen wise. It all looks good. What I will do, once we've had a little go at this, I'll have a little play online and see if I can compare a genuine bit of gameplay, maybe off the internet, and see how it looks. Ooh. As I said, I've not played this before, so I can't speak to my own skill. But it's working okay. I'm running, I'm jumping, I'm getting shot. I'm shooting. All looks good so far, gotta say. Music sounds good. Got a morph ball, don't know what that is. Double tap down to take ball form. Okay. Yeah, got it. Oh, something's coming. Well, I've got to say, initial impressions, it plays well. Let's have a look at Resident Evil. So, same again. This is the cartridge of Resident Evil in a bit more detail. So, again, unfortunately, I don't have an original copy because this is a very expensive game to buy second-hand to compare. But I've looked online at some eBay listings and it looks very similar. We're going to do a comparison again. This time I've just randomly grabbed Batman, the video game, because who would fake this game, let's be honest, although I quite enjoy it. So, looking on side here, you'll notice the little dot there isn't on the fake cartridge. And obviously there's the age again. These numbers at the bottom, I really don't know what they mean. So, if anybody does know, please let me know, if that might be a way to tell, in future, the difference between a fake and a real cartridge. Turn her over. Sorry, all fingers and thumbs. Again, apart from the age, this is the real one. And if you look at the quality of the printing here, it is a lot poorer than the quality of the printing here of the numbers. They seem to sort of have it. Again, the font is different here. But I don't know if that changes from game to game or if that's something to look out for. And you've got the numbers on here and the numbers on here again as well. So in reality, apart from looking at the age and comparing the sticker, I'm not sure how you would tell the difference between a fake cartridge like this and a real cartridge like this. If anybody lets me know, please do in the comments. Right, let's get the old DS up. So we're back up with the DS, just to, again, make sure you can see it's still the fake cartridge. As I said, I don't own a real copy of this because it's too expensive, quite frankly. Boot her up. I will just actually grab the pen out for this because it is a DS game and I'm going to keep the console flat for filming. What is showing? Resident Evil Deadly Silence Capcom. Let's click on it. Nice little warning to let us know that it's a bit gory. Can't imagine the graphics will be that. Oh wow, look at that. It's quite impressive on the top screen. Bit of real-time video. New game. Rebirth mode. That, just so you know, the difference is classic mode plays like it did on PlayStation. Rebirth mode is a bit more skewed towards the DS version. So we've got a choice here. We can either be Jill or we can be Chris. Be honest, didn't everybody choose Jill when they played this game? I know I did. See how it boots up. Any classic gamers out there or people who played the original might remember the look of this.
Alpha team is flying around the forest zone situated in northwest Raccoon City, where we're searching for the helicopter.
Alright, we've had the cutscene. Let's see if we can skip across now. We know it's got cutscenes. Right, we've escaped into the mansion. We all know the story, I'm sure. Well, graphically, that's not disappointing. That's actually quite impressive for a DS. Wow.
Captain Wesker, where's Chris?
Stop it! Don't open that door!
But Chris
The voice acting in this game was horrendous. I'm glad that they didn't change it. It's part of the charm. It's like your favourite B-movie guilty pleasure, isn't it?
Can you go? I'm going with you.
Right, skip that. I'm guessing this is some sort of loading screen as we go through. here I am. Yeah, I don't want to... Well, first impressions, this looks pretty good. How do we control Jill? Oh, we've got tank controls, just like the original. That's quite charming. Not easy for filming, but charming. Oh, that helps you run.
What? What is this?
What is it?
Blood. Jill, see if you can find any other clues. I'll be examining this.
Okay. Do you know, I haven't played the game with tank controls for a little while, and I can't say I miss them. I really, really can't. Let me get to a bit that's a bit more exciting with something happening, and I'll come back to you. Right, I've just got to a bit where we've finally found a zombie. I'm just going to pick it up a little bit because you don't tend to use the stylus much by the look of it. And you do need to use the trigger. Right, oh, I've got my gun drawn. Okay, for some reason they seem to have the blood of green. Not sure why that is. Oh, no, don't... But the awkward camera angles are still the same. Have it. Well, that was a bit of nostalgia. Sure, that's a green plant. No? Okay, maybe I'm wrong. I watched just a little bit of gameplay before I started recording this of the first Resident Evil, and it seems relatively the same. I mean, I didn't sit there taking notes frame for frame, but this is good. This is very good. I'm very impressed. Right, let's have a chat. So there we go. It looks like they play pretty well. I have, since recording that little segment, been onto YouTube and watched some gameplay of these games from what I assume are at least genuine copies, and it looks pretty much identical. So as far as fakes go, they're pretty good ones. They seem to give you the genuine player experience. But why did I buy them? Well, I want to say here and now, and I probably should have said this in the beginning, I am in no way advocating for counterfeit goods. There are certain scumbags out there who will be buying these from China, from AliExpress or a similar website like Wish. Or I think Temu's a new one, isn't it? I don't know if that's got fake games or not. I haven't looked yet. But I digress. Scumbags will buy these games, pop them on somewhere like eBay or Amazon, and sell them as genuine for a nice tidy profit and rip off gamers. And that's certainly not something I would ever want to happen. So that is not why I'm making this video, and that is not why I bought these. The reason I purchased them was quite simply to see, in this world of emulation, if there's people like me who don't really understand it, because they're not very technically gifted, who want to play these games which are very expensive to buy second hand, and experience them on the original hardware, if this is a genuine option. And from what I can see, at least with these two, yes it is. It is a genuine option to play these games. Resident Evil Deadly Silence cost me about £8.50, Metroid about £4.50, maybe £5. Substantially cheaper, if you're on a budget especially, than the originals would have cost me. And now I can play them on the original hardware and enjoy them. So if you are out there and you simply want the gameplay experience, it's there, and it is a pretty tidy option for you. Obviously, you can't really add them to a collection unless you're quite happy just having them on a shelf and letting people know they're fake if they see them. And you certainly, under no circumstances, can resell them because they're fake. That is a breach of copyright and illegal. I don't want anybody getting in trouble because of a video I've made. But if you're quite happy just to shove them in a box, because they don't come with the actual case as you probably would have expected, they do just come cartridge only, and just having them there to experience and play the games, if that's you, why not? Just give them a go, enjoy them, and then pop them away until you want to play them again. Let me know your thoughts. Are these simply just illegal products which should not exist and nobody should buy? Or do you see where I'm coming from? If you can't afford the originals and you want to play them on the original hardware just to experience the game with no intention of reselling, is it okay? And why not check out this video where I purchased one of the multi-carts from AliExpress with over 200 games on it. It's one of my very early videos, so if you think the production on this video is poor, wait till you see that. It does suck a bit, but I get the point across. And it is interesting to see how these multi-carts work. Until next time, ta-da for now.